Hello and welcome to Frank's School. This is a special day. This is the second year, 76th day, first video. But why it's special is because I'm going to begin to teach punctuation. And I'm going to teach it in a very different way. I'm rather excited about this actually. And maybe you'll see what I mean. I think today there will be 3 videos, maybe 4. Because I've got to explain what I'm doing. Here comes the cat. I'm ready for this cat. This is catnip, and I think it's going to keep that cat busy. So, all right, now, instead of explaining it all at the beginning, I'm going to jump right into what I'm going to be doing. I've got a story, a silly little story, that I'm going to go through sentence by sentence and punctuate it. And by the time I'm at the end of this story, you would have seen just about every punctuation mark that there is available. All right, and another thing I'm going to be doing, and I'll do that this video, is I'm going to show how it's pronounced. For example, punctuation is spelled like that, but what you actually say, if you spell my way, which is called Artok Writin', I've already spoken some about it, and I'm going to use it a lot here. What you say is punctuation, and the underlined parts are the parts that are said strong. Now in German, this is called Interpunktion, I think. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but it's spelled like that. And I think what they say is Interpunktion, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about the pronunciation. Anyway, the story begins like this. By the time the sun had risen red-orange over the mountain, whoops, I didn't want that there yet, Farmer Brown's rooster still hadn't crowed. All right, what you need here, and now capitalization is another matter. I'm not going to include that. That's not quite the same as punctuation, and later I'll explain about that. Anyway, by the time, that's a prepositional phrase, but it doesn't require a comma. By the time the sun had risen red-orange over the mountain. Now that whole thing is what's called in English a subordinate clause, because it has a subject. I'm sorry if this sounds scary, but so be it. It has a subject, sun, there's the subject, there's the simple predicate, sun had risen. That has predication. So here we have a clause, and the clause ends right here. Well, one of the rules of punctuation is that if you've got an adverbial clause that begins a sentence, now this is English, in German it's different. If you have an adverbial clause that begins a sentence, you must put a comma after it. Now it's adverbial because it answers when. When Farmer Brown's rooster still hadn't crowed. By the time the sun had risen red-orange over the mountain. Oh, I shouldn't have put that in there either. Because that's one of the things I was going to teach you about. So that we need to have a comma there, and a nickname for that is going to be an IAC, an introductory adverbial clause. That's one of the rules of punctuation in English. Now, the sun didn't rise red and it didn't rise orange. It rose red-orange. When you want to take 2 words and push them together, like someone has gray-green eyes, they're not gray, they're not green, they're gray-green. Well, the punctuation system, which I think, later I'll tell you more about this, but unlike the spelling system of English, which is in many ways horrible, although historic, the punctuation system is practically perfect. Red-orange. If you put that there, now you've joined the 2 together into one single adjective. Maybe I'll mention it later, but there was a country western song that went, "Hey, won't you sing me one more of them somebody done somebody wrong songs." Somebody somebody done somebody wrong songs. Well, what kind of a song is it? It's a somebody done somebody wrong song. That's what kind. And so you would hyphenate all that together into one big adjective. All right, I didn't realize I was going to do that. All right, where are we? By the time the sun had risen, red-orange over the mountain, comma, Farmer Brown's rooster still hadn't crowed. Well, in English, when an S is used for possession, you need to put an apostrophe there. That's called an apostrophe. This is a comma, this is a hyphen, and this is an apostrophe. That you do not do that in German, and I am not sure if that is even available on a German keyboard. I don't think it is. I'm not sure. Farmer Brown's rooster still hadn't crowed. Well, this is a contraction. Had not is what would be said if it were spread out, but it's been contracted. And when that happens, the O disappears. Well, you use an apostrophe to indicate an omitted letter. Hadn't crowed. And this is a sentence. This is a complete thought, if you will. Here's the subject, rooster. Rooster had crowed. There's the subject, simple subject. There's the simple predicate. So we've got predication. Rooster had crowed. Now it's modified. So the rooster hadn't crowed. It had not crowed. All right, now that would be enough for just punctuation, but I'm going to do way more than that. Wow, that cat looks like it's dead. It's not. But the catnip, I think it works. What we actually say in English, and you see, what I'm going to do now is largely for the German speakers who are watching my videos, because there was another video where they quite a few seem to have been interested in this. That's the way it's spelled. But what we actually say in English, and a backslash indicates a spelling for pronunciation. And here's what we say, using my spelling system. By the, by the time the sun had risen. You could say risen, but you say risen. With my choir, when I'm conducting my choir and they're singing, I make them sing risen. If this were a song, risen. And notice, I'm not always going to show what's stressed, but sometimes I will. Red, orange, red, orange, over the, the mountain. That's the way I would spell it. And this apostrophe in my spelling system means a glottal stop. It's not a vowel. It's not a consonant. You stop the sound with your throat. Mountain. You can say mountain, in which case you would be making a different sound. But what I would say in American, and this is American English now, Mid-Atlantic dialect of American English. Mountain, farmer, Browns, sometimes Browns, sometimes I'm going to capitalize I don't know if I should capitalize single letters. No, there's no really harm in capitalizing. Rooster still hadn't. There's that glottal stop again. Hadn't. I don't know whether to put the had. No, the D's not there. Hadn't crowed. Let's try it. By the time the sun had risen, red-orange, over the mountain, Farmer Brown's rooster still hadn't crowed. All right, that's enough for one video. But I've got at least one, maybe two more coming, maybe three more coming today. So I'll put this online and then I'll be back. Bye for now.